y'all need to say hey to DJ and John.
Hey.
I don't know who they are. They know who they are.
They know who they are.
We're sitting here tonight talking about couples in the South. And Lisa said, hey, we need to tell people what are some things
fight about.
what we fight about. Now, all this ain't really things that we fight about with our spouses.
No.
There goes
the
Chala.
cat. Get down.
Chala! Look at her.
Come here.
Anyway,
Come here.
some of it's stuff I thought about that my mom and dad fights about. So I'm going to start with that one because it's pretty funny. All right, my mom and dad have been married for 45 years. And let me get the cat. And he has had a ritual for probably 15 or 20 years where he makes her a cup of instant coffee every night and puts her creamer and her artificial sweetener in it. After she gets done with that, he lets her wait a little bit, and then he fixes her a little mug of ice cream.
Ain't that sweet?
Yeah. All right, so
That's sweet.
They were grumpy one day, and my dad had asked her, did she want her coffee, and she said yeah. So when he went into the kitchen to make it, he was in the middle of heating the water, and she come through. Well, he opened the refrigerator door, and he had her mug sitting there, and he poured the creamer into the coffee mug, and that was the only thing in it. And then he comes behind the creamer and pours the hot water in it and scoops the coffee into it and stirs it all up and then puts her sugar in it. And she watches him and she goes, you're not doing that right. And he's like, what do you mean? And she's like, that is not how you make instant coffee. And they had a whole 15-minute argument because he made her instant coffee wrong, in the wrong order. So when he brought it to her in the living room, she acted like it didn't taste like it's supposed to. And
After 45 years, y'all.
and he says to her, Jean, I've been making this coffee for years, and you ain't never said nothing about the way I do it. And all of a sudden, just because you see me tonight, it don't taste right. I mean, it was a 15-minute argument.
That's true, too, because you can cook things like I can cook in front of my husband, and if he watches what I do, then he swears right from that minute that it's not going to be good.
That you didn't do
and
that right.
And it'll be the same way that I made it for years and years and
but
years.
But you didn't do it right.
So, look, I got to a point where I started washing off our ground meat, our ground beef or turkey or whatever, just to kind of get that extra fat off of it. And he saw me do it.
Yep.
And I can't cook ground meat no more.
Does he do it?
He does.
Is he the one that does
He's
it?
so scared I'm going to wrench it off in the sink. He's scared I'm going to wrench it off and get all the good fat off of it. So he goes, no, let me do it. Okay.
Okay, so the rule, so Mama has to make her own instant coffee and you have to let Lester do the ground beef.
I have to let him cook the ground beef.
Okay.
I'm good with it, but yeah, just because he saw me do it.
Yeah.
But when he didn't see me do it, all was well.
It's the same principle. A lot of people in the South, when they cook any kind of beans, they pour oil in them.
A lot of people do, yeah.
They like shiny beans.
Yeah, yeah.
Y'all gonna hear my phone ringing. It's probably my mama calling me back, but Mama, I'll call you back. This won't take long. It'll go to the voicemail. Anyway, so and Speaking of food, I was down at Little Bit and Cletus's a couple weeks ago, and Cletus got upset because Little Bit did not make her cornbread in a cast iron pan.
You gotta use them cast iron pans down here.
Okay,
keep them things seasoned up good.
This is my thing. Now he said something about it wasn't gonna be right because it wasn't in that cast iron pan.
And it wasn't. I agree with Cletus.
Well, she didn't give him a chance to know. She took that whole pan and tossed it out the door.
Shut up.
And the chickens gobbled it up.
Poor Cletus.
Yeah, he didn't.
Well, don't worry about it. It wouldn't have been good no way, Cletus.
So he had a pot of pinto beans and no cornbread.
You just can't do that.
Hey, I kind of felt like maybe he shouldn't have said something.
He probably shouldn't have, but
if he would have had cornbread, it might have not been from that cast iron pan, but he would have had it.
It's probably like, when you make stuff, like we make stuff for our husbands, and my husband's really good about not saying anything, but I don't know about yours, but don't ever say, it ain't like Mama made.
Okay, yep. One time I worked on these pound cakes for my husband, and he come home from work, and this is before we got married, and he was eating it. He was like, this is really good. I mean, everything was from scratch. And then he goes, it don't taste like my mama's.
Poor Ken.
Y'all.
Poor Ken.
Y'all, it was probably 4 or 5 years before I made another homemade pound cake for him. I told him that day, I said, I'm never going to make you another one. He told me I was. And I waited for several years before I did because,
you don't do that. Don't compare us to you. Now, my husband don't do that. He'll say, my mama can make some good biscuits, like if I'm making homemade biscuits or something. Yeah. But he's never, ever compared me, any of my food, to his mama's food.
And I remember how delicious my granny's biscuits were.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, it was something, it was like, I don't know what it was.
And no matter what you do, it's never going to taste the same as what they did.
Right. It was so good. I mean, I wish I could make a biscuit just like my granny did.
Yeah. And
so I understood where he was coming from. But boy, when he said that, I jerked my head around.
It was over.
And I was like, what are you talking about? I said, are you saying it don't taste good? And he was like, no, it just don't taste like Mama's pound cake. Oh, Lord. And you know what? His mama's sweet and she can cook too. But I was like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
All right. What's another one we thought of here? Here's one about my granny and pa. We were all at church one Sunday at Wilson Primitive Baptist, and my pa and my granny, they would get so prettied up for church, honey. They got fancy. And he put on his best cologne. It was probably something from Avon that come out of one of them decorative
Stetson,
one of them decorative containers.
Yeah, like an old car, like an old glass car.
Yeah, they had all that.
Yeah.
So this woman come around and hugged him before preaching, and then she come back and hugged him after preaching. Well, my granny couldn't wait to get him in their big old Impala and tell him that she saw that woman hug him twice, and she didn't like it. And he wears all that cologne to smell good for them women at church. And they argued just about all the way back to their house. And I remember my pa looking at her and going, Ma, you ain't nothing but the devil.
They just left church.
and I remember she said shit that day.
What?
And I was like, ooh,
no, Granny didn't.
She said shit. I don't remember what she said, but I was like, ooh, Granny done said shit, and Pa done called her the devil.
Oh.
All over that woman hugging him twice.
Oh.
Oh, and Lisa has experience with Lester driving her places.
This is one of our biggest arguments. So, first of all, we have no specific time to be anywhere, and he wants to outrun his headlights. He wants to be
So, y'all not headed for appointments?
We're going to pick up groceries.
Okay,
And he's got to go 65 and 70 miles an hour. Like, we've got to get there right then. But he's looking over here talking about they done build a building over there, and look, they got a new track.
Okay, so he's holding the steering wheel up here driving, and
he's holding the steering wheel driving, and he's doing like this, and I am in the passenger seat going, stop! See, you see that car? Stop! Brakes! Lights! And then he goes, shut up.
Okay, what about tailgating? Does he tailgate people?
He tailgates people, and my son tailgates people way worse than anybody else in my family. Like, I just can't deal. Like, It was like riding with my husband, but worse when I went with him the last time, and I can't know. You know what you do, Cameron. You know what you do.
But now when you drive, does Lester tell you drive too slow?
Yeah. I don't drive much. Most of the time when we go somewhere, he's driving. But when I do, one time he blowed the tip of his finger off with a air compressor.
So I was trying, he did because he lives in Stokes
County. So I was trying to get him to urgent care, the hospital, wherever I could get him, and he's over there got his thumb wrapped up. Well, I mean, I wasn't trying to do no 80 miles an hour because, I mean, it was, he had it wrapped up. So.
Well, he didn't blow the whole thumb off.
Well, he actually, it laid it back and they had to burn it and stitch it back together. Whatever.
You only blew half your thumb off. It was not your whole entire
right,
thumb.
It was a tip. So he didn't say nothing on the way there, but once he kept looking over at the speedometer going, "Can you go any faster?" And I'm like, "Well, I can't break the law." And he's like, "Yes, you can."
He's like, "If they pull you over, tell them we need an escort."
Well, oh my gosh. So, and then after it was all over with, he was like, "I thought you'd never get there. Like, next time call the ambulance because I thought you'd never get there."
Or how about this? I'm leaving.
Well, let me get my bags because I'm going with you.
That's exactly what happens
You
here.
ain't getting out of this. Don't threaten to leave because it is not going to happen.
No.
Wherever you go, I go. It's done. It's a done
it.
deal.
Yep. They'll go in there and they'll grab that suitcase and pack it up and follow you.
That's right. I would. You can go out in the yard.
Or how about this? Are you gonna spend $100 on that pocketbook? And then I turn around and look at him and go, "Well, did you spend $1,500 on a bow?"
On a bow.
And he goes, "Yeah, I did." And then he goes, "But that puts food on the table."
Oh my goodness.
And I said, "Well, this pocketbook's gonna carry my credit cards, and that's gonna put food on the table."
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Let's see what else we thought of. Oh wait, already got that one. Okay. When you ride up and down through the countryside, and the people up the street right here up the highway, they got a tractor that's broke down and rickety, or old lawnmower, and it's been sitting there for 2 or 3 years, and your husband buys it, and he thinks he's gonna spend so much money on it and fix it up, and it's gonna be good.
And it sits out in the yard for 2 years. Ain't got no ties on it.
Well, he does get the tools out of the building to work on it.
And leaves them laying in the yard.
So, okay, that's the double edge right there. See,
Yes.
First he's bought the old tractor or lawnmower or whatever, but then he leaves all the stuff out in her yard and doesn't pick it up.
Lawnmowers, weed eaters, chainsaws, and then it's like, well, I can't get my chainsaw to crank. Well, you left it out in the snow all winter. What do you expect?
Mm-hmm.
That just irks my soul.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot deal with it.
All right, so to us, we go shopping at Aldi's, Food Line, Walmart's, Dollar General, Family Dollar Tree, and the Dollar and Something Tree.
Mm-hmm.
So once in a while, we'll get to hankering. And when I say once in a while, I mean every 5 years, to run into the big city for us, which is Greensboro, Winston. And when we want to do that, our husbands are like, "Oh my God, we just went there."
You ain't gonna be out there all day, are you? We just went there 5 years ago.
Yeah, right. They'll be like, "We just went 2 weeks ago," and it will have been every bit of
5 years.
Yes.
Yes. Every time you go in that store, it takes you forever. You might be in there 15 minutes.
Okay, Lisa's bad for doing something after they go get groceries.
When you go get your groceries, you have to stop and get something to eat on the way home. You cannot just take them groceries home and cook. You wore out. You got to get home.
You spend all that time in Aldi's or Walmart's.
Oh, I do mine online. I still got to stop and get something to eat. I ain't trying to be coming home.
You don't even get out of the car.
Heck no. And I don't even get out the car to drive through. At the McDonald's, we go through the drive-through.
I do use the pickup groceries sometimes. I do. Not all the time, but half the time.
But do you know how much time and planning it takes into making a grocery order?
Thank you.
I mean, it's not like you just sit down and go bap. You got to compare. You got to see what they got. Pick your substitutions. It's exhausting.
It is, and then they'll message you and ask you, can they substitute something? So you got to
right when I'm in the middle of something.
Yes.
Right when I mean, like what?
Yes.
Right when I'm in the middle of something. So yeah, that done got me tired. I got to stop and get something to eat.
Now there's one thing that a lot of women would fuss about my husband, and that's the amount of dead animals that we have hanging on the wall.
You'll have a lot.
And I don't fuss. I mean, there's approximately, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, There's 8 turkeys in the hallway. There's 8 turkeys fans hanging in the hallway. And I don't care. But a lot of women would not like that.
It wouldn't bother me.
Yeah, and we got a turkey right there and a deer right there and a deer right there.
Yeah.
And and I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Just whatever. Put the dead animals wherever you want to.
Yeah.
We eat them.
Yeah.
We actually eat the turkey and the deer. So, all right, let's see, what else did we think of? Oh, I thought of one right here. When I say, ooh, my wrist is hurting with this carpal tunnel, and Ken goes, well, it can't be hurting as bad as mine. Or if I get a cold or something, and then he'll get a cold, and his has to be worse than mine.
And it is, or they act like it is anyway. It's no.
Or I'm like, God, this shoulder's bothering me tonight.
Mine's been hurting too.
Mine's been hurting for years, he'll say. God, I've been dealing with that for years.
Now you know how I feel.
Yeah, now you know how I feel. Exactly. And then when they go to the doctor, what happens?
When they go to the doctor, they don't freaking listen. I don't know why they waste their money going to the doctor. You get blood work up. Mm-hmm. The doctor would call you and say you need to start eating healthy. You need to be on a treadmill, exercise.
Oh God, I can't judge on this. I can't comment. I can't
drink
judge.
more water. It ain't happening.
I am drinking more water.
I don't care what that doctor said. I'm gonna do what I want to do. She just made a suggestion that I can do what I want to do.
See, I can't comment because I'm gonna be guilty.
Listen to the doctor. If a doctor tells you that you need to be on a treadmill or drinking water, do it. She's not just saying it to tick you off. You need to do it. Blood clots. You get blood clots if you don't walk enough.
Heart disease.
Kidney problems. I mean, just do what you're told.
Your liver messes up.
Your liver, yeah. Mm-hmm. Do what you're told to do from that doctor. And don't lie to the doctor either. Like when she says, how many beers do you drink? And you go, 6.
I wonder if Ken tells the truth.
Luster don't.
I bet Ken
I looked at his my chart and he lied. They said.
I bet Ken don't tell the truth either.
They said, how many beers do you drink? And he's like, they put on the my chart 6 a week. That's a lie. And he knows that's a lie.
He told a fib, but
you need to get into his my chart because it'll tell it.
I'll have to look. And you know what? I bet Lester comes out to the car and goes, God, I know I just lied to the doctor. Please forgive me.
No, he don't. You know what he says? They don't need to know. They don't need to know my business. Yes, they do, because if they ever have to put you to sleep and you've got alcohol in your system,
they need to know.
They need to know that.
They need to know.
And I have ratted him out multiple times. I don't go with him much anymore because I'm working, but I ratted him out. Mm-hmm. First time I ever went with him, I ratted him out.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't care.
I'll rat my husband out to his mama when he's trying to be all innocent like he does no wrong, and then I'm like, okay, no. He said GD the other day, Katie. I'll tell her, Katie, he said GD. Because that irks me. I don't like it. So I tell on him.
Uh-huh.
When he gets so mad that he'll say that, and he has really stopped doing that too, because I started telling his mama.
Well, Charity, my daughter, told my mama on me the other day. So, okay. I had a belly button ring for like 22 years.
And mama just found out.
It got ripped out at work.
Oh, that's right.
It got ripped out. So we went on her birthday weekend and got it redone. Yes. And so she's like, they were kind of wanting to, pick on her a little bit. And she just turns that whole table and goes, me and mama got our belly buttons redone. And they were like, forgot about exactly what they were talking to her. And then, why would you do something like that?
Well, Ken starts with the big mouth.
Yeah, that's a good one too. You gotta tell everything you know.
That's exactly. And his mama goes, well, I'm glad she did tell me because you wasn't raised to talk like that.
That's right, Ken. Don't be saying that, GD. That's ugly.
And he has, honey, that has
What about when we used to have our mouth washed out with soap when we said ugly words?
Yeah.
I had to have mine washed out.
I never remember saying not one
I had a babysitter that washed my mouth out with soap and then made me stand in the corner on one foot. I remember.
Oh, my God.
Yes, she did. Mm-hmm. It was bad.
That was probably traumatic.
It was traumatic. It was
like that Christmas show that comes on every year with little Ralphie on it, and he says a cuss word, and his mama makes him hold the bar soap.
Yeah, a
in
Christmas
his mouth.
story.
A
Yeah.
Christmas story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we just wanted to bring y'all that tonight so y'all could see our shining faces.
Yeah, and it's going to be a few days, probably before you get another video, but because Ho's got to go on vacation.
But I'm going to post the trial. I'm going to post the
yeah,
trial.
she's going to post that tonight.
You'll see
They're actually doing closing arguments today in this trial, so stay tuned.
So next week we're going to discuss
what happened.
What happened.
And Sherry's going to talk about her trip, and we have some good stories coming up for y'all.
Yeah, and we appreciate your messages and all the stuff you send.
And leave us comments and let us know if there's anything you want us to talk about. We will talk about anything.
Anywhere you want us to go and ask people questions, I don't mind.
We have no shame.
I'll do it.
Anything you want to know,
I will do it.
we would discuss it. We've probably been through anything, everything.
We've been through a lot.
Yeah,
we've been through a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna close up because we've held y'all too long.
Bye.
Bless you.